The goods from the wood.
Hot damn!
We're here live at Disgraceland with superstar
Yes,
Billy Graham.
superstar Billy Graham, former World Wrestling Federation champion.
None of that WWE shit.
No. When I wrestled, it was the Worldwide Wrestling Federation, WWWF, and I was the world champion.
Billy, you took the belt off of Bruno Sammartino, didn't you?
Yeah, Bruno. Bruno was a great champion, probably the best of his era. I mean, Triple H, I think, is the best of the modern era, counting myself. But back then, Bruno just amazed audiences.
So do you watch much of the wrestling now?
I see it when I can.
When is that? When is?
Sometimes when I'm not working out or getting medicine for my liver, I because I've had a transplant, I still see some of the wrestling, and there's a lot of guys I like today. Triple H, I'm a huge fan of Triple H. His physique that he's worked so incredibly hard to maintain, the realism of his matches. I am a huge fan of Triple H.
What do you think of Finn Balor? Because he's not very much like you. He doesn't have the big muscles.
He has this disgusting, disturbing, almost satanic devil introduction. When he comes down to the ring, it disturbs me.
But why does it disturb you?
It's almost satanic. He's just painted his body in this devious, diabolo, despicable, almost violent, sick, demented manner.
Well, what do you think of him as a wrestler, though?
I think he's a great guy. He's got a great physique. He works really hard, and the real of his matches. And from what I understand, he's a fan of mine, too.
What do you think of the women's division in NXT?
Oh, you see, in my day, we had Penny Banner and people like that. All the women nowadays they're great. They're really great athletes.
Good physiques, too.
They have some good physiques. They really do. Some of them are like mine, because I used to work out with Arnold. He's the godfather to my daughter.
Which I guess they call them divas now.
Divas?
Which one do you think has the best physique?
Well, there's this one called Bailey or something, and she has this incredible body that she worked hard to maintain, but her face is just despicable. It reminds me a little bit of me when I was at Madison Square Garden, and people were chanting for me, and yet Vince Sr. put the belt on this howdy doody.
Who's this?
Bob Backlund.
Bob Backlund.
You have problems
Howdy-doody.
You have problems with Bob Backlund?
He came out one time. He's supposed to wear the belt, and he's got his robe over it. And I said, Bobby, why are you wearing the robe over your belt? And he said, well, Coleman, I like my robe. He shouldn't have been the champion. People were chanting howdy-doody.
So what do you think of Fandango?
So does this dancing, this sick, disturbing, disgusting, violent dancing that he comes when he does to
But
the
it's
ring.
it's ballroom dancing. What's despicable and disturbing about ballroom
It's
dancing?
like Puerto Rican violent ballroom. I used to wrestle down there. It was violent and disturbing.
Were there other ballroom dancing wrestlers in Puerto Rico?
Abby would do it sometimes, and he would blade. He would take his gig out on the dance floor. And he would just blade all over to his blood. It looked like the floor of hell, and it was disgusting. Violent, this disgusting, bloodthirsty monster. And I said, Abby, why are you bleeding on the ballroom dance floor? And he said to me, Coleman, I gotta get my heat.
So, but you have a problem with Fandango's dancing. What about his wrestling?
His physique is really good. And he's the realism of his matches, and he works really hard, and I'm a big fan.
Who are you not a fan of? Is there any wrestler?
Abdullah the Butcher.
Well, no. What do you think
He's
about
got the disease hepatitis. It takes years off your life, and he gives it to people because he's a bloodthirsty monster.
if Billy, if we gave you $10,000, Billy,
I paint is what I do with a lot of it. I get some watercolors and that Bob Ross set with the happy trees.
So if I gave you $10,000 for paints and painting equipment and canvases, would you eat at Abdullah the Butcher's House of Ribs?
No, it's disgusting. The health board wanted to shut them down. He takes the plastic forks and he sticks them in these ugly, disgusting grooves that are in his head. And I said, Abby, the health board's going to shut you down. You're a bloodthirsty monster. And he said, Coleman, I have to get my heat.
Gotta get the heat to cook those ribs.
No, it's not a rib. He was trying to get heat by blading himself with a plastic fork in his China, and people are gagging on their food. I said, Abby, what's wrong with you? This is bloodthirsty nightmare that's going on. It's like Bluebeard's chamber or something. And he said, Coleman, I have to get my heat.
So you have heat with Abby.
With Abby, yes.
But are there
But
any?
he's a great guy, though.
Are there any young wrestlers, like up and coming blue chip wrestlers?
Neville.
You're not a fan of Neville?
No, the wingspan of his ears is proportional to his height, I think. In my day, there'd be a height issue, but he's got a great physique. And I heard he's a fan of me.
You've wrestled in Japan, right?
Oh, yes.
So you were there with Abby. Were you ever there with Andre the Giant?
Oh, yeah, with Andre a lot.
Yeah. What was it like being on an airplane with Abdullah the Butcher and Andre the Giant? Because they're both very large men, and you're a large man too, and that's a very long plane
Abby
ride.
flew coach because he's really cheap like that, and he would blade on an airplane. And the stewardesses would be gagging, and I'm like, Abby, why are you bleeding all over coach class? And he said, Coleman, I have to get my heat. But Andre was great. He'd just sleep and drink and sometimes play cribbage.
Do you play cribbage, or who would he play?
I tried playing once. It was me. There was the Masked Superstar.
Bill Eadie?
Bill Eadie, yeah, and Abby. And Abby started... He started blading during the game of cribbage.
Don't tell me he took the pegs from the game of cribbage.
And he put them in the grooves in his disgusting head. It was violent.
Abby would do that, apparently.
Sick, disturbing, disgusting, demented. And I said, Abby, why are you doing this? We're just playing cribbage. And he said, Coleman, I have to get my heat.
Is there any point where Abby doesn't have to get his heat? Like he's just not conscious about getting his heat?
No. He's always sticking something in the disgusting grooves in his head or stabbing someone with a fork, and he's trying to give people hepatitis, and that's assault with a deadly weapon.
The fork or the hepatitis?
Anything. Oh. Abby is a deadly, bloodthirsty ball of demonic hepatitis.
So Bill, you're a master of martial arts.
Oh, yes. Kung Fu. I learned it from the Grand Wizard.
Since you're a master of martial arts, could you have taken Jean-Claude Van Damme?
I wouldn't fight the Pope. It just wouldn't be right. It's not appropriate.
And you could have taken Steven Seagal as well?
Yeah, I actually fought him once.
Really?
In a movie. I played an arm wrestler, and we fought, and there was a scene where he was supposed to bleed. And I thought it was Hollywood, and they just used blood capsules. Or somebody takes a blade, and he's going for his forehead. And I said, why are you doing that? You could give somebody hepatitis. And he said he had to get his heat.
Seagal always has to get his heat. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Billy.
You're welcome.
That's Superstar Billy Graham. Follow him on Twitter at @SSBillyGraham.
Superstar Graham, the latest pet, the men's regret. What you see is what you get, and what you don't see is better yet.